bearing in mind the time. James.
So how's the Royal Docks Enterprise Zone going to help?
Well, we campaign for it, we welcome it, it'll be useful as a marketing tool, but some of the sums of money are pretty small. I think the offer is pretty small because it's different for different people. You want to put a biotech place, the land values are high and the buildings are going to cost. So one of the things I have to say, I think when Michael Heseltine was investing in doing the stuff in Canary Wharf, he understood that you need sometimes to do a bit more heavy lifting. So I think our concern would be that while we welcome what we've got, and we're working with the Mayor of London to make sure that after the first 5 years, the 20 years money that goes to LEP is going to be used for infrastructure improvements around that area. I do think that there needs to be an understanding that not only is London unique in terms of needing resource to make that work, you have to spend more to make it work, but also businesses need different things. We've had Siemens come, which is a fantastic step forward, and what they wanted was speed and certainty of planning, and it was public land, and they wanted us to sell it really quick. You ask them, they'll tell you that we were really quick, did exactly what they wanted. That's what they were looking for, but each business is different. And at this point, our worry is that there's not enough opportunity, that some of the things, if we want to attract international investors, if we want to attract jobs from elsewhere, we need a better offer and a better incentive. At the moment, we're concerned about that.
Isn't one of the dangers, and it's not just in relation to enterprise zones in London, but in other areas, but one of the effects of them is that they don't address the issue that you were talking about earlier, is that they focus investment in one area, but they suck out opportunities out of other areas. So actually, won't it potentially make your situation worse?
No, that's why we want to look at, if you're going to attract business from the rest of Europe, which would be, then you need to think about the nature of what you're offering. If you are going to have a tech city, which we think would then come down, and there's actually lots of academic interest now down the Lee and along there, if you're going to do those sorts of things which will enable you to grow businesses and grow effectively, you need to think about what incentives will encourage that firm. One of the things I always find frustrating is you say, here's your offer, but firms are all different. We know businesses are all different. Some businesses need more than others. And what we think we should be doing is looking and saying, well, if it's going to generate wealth and opportunity, and it isn't just sucking from elsewhere, then the government should be willing to stand behind that and support different models for different businesses in order to generate more jobs. Because in the end, that's a very cost-effective, that's good.
Won't it just be high-tech, high-skilled jobs, which won't get anywhere near addressing some of the deeper-seated problems that we've been discussing earlier?
Two things. One, in every high-tech business, there's lots of jobs that are unskilled. I've talked particularly about unskilled jobs when I'm mentioning, but we need to talk about a skilling opportunity to upskill. We have spent a lot of money on the Retail Academy and Skills Academy we've established at Stratford City, but the businesses have led that, and we've been very clear, we don't want the academics leading it, we want the businesses leading it. You'd be amazed at how many different types of training retail people want. From John Lewis to, I think it's Forever 21, who frankly wouldn't want me to come into the store even if I was prepared to spend money, and they want different sorts of people. So it's making that skill work with the business. Now we want high skilled jobs because we want to encourage our kids to aspire. Right. We want, and one of the things we're getting in Stratford City is an academy where we've spent our money to make sure it's an all through school. So lots of things, it is right to understand that you have to upskill. So high skilled jobs.
Can we say Ross come in and respond as well? Yes.
I think, if we're getting to the point where there's we're coming to a conclusion, I think the point that I'd be very, very keen for the committee to have to reflect on, if you like, is that we seem to be the government seems to be approaching a policy now that says do things for everywhere, but actually the Greater South East is fine, and that's just not right in our view. I know you asked a question about enterprise zones, but it just felt to me that if I could leave you with one,
but my point is, isn't London just one massive enterprise zone? That it's sucking out opportunities from the rest of the country. Is that one of the effects of the? So why do you need another enterprise zone? You've had the Olympics, you've had all this money, now you want an enterprise zone. Whereas places like the West Midlands economy has got major challenges, deep levels of deprivation and unemployment. Isn't London just one big enterprise zone anyway?
No. Come to East End and see what the problems are. I'm not against investing in the Midlands, but I want investment in the biggest area of deprivation in the country, in Europe, if you take unemployment.
Come on to Helen.